We accept all sorts of things without question. Why? Why do we just accept without question? Whatever seems logical to our minds, we accept as reality. Why? Logic is a very flexible thing, depending on what you're using to come up with that logic or to build that logic. Nowadays, people just scroll down the screen, accepting what comes up as reality, or maybe some of it they reject, but they don't question the whole thing. What is this reality we're living in? When you come to think of it, our reality is our interpretation of what our senses experience, the sight, touch, taste, and so on. We see certain things, and we draw conclusions, and we act on those conclusions. And then there are outcomes to those actions. And on our life goes, without too much questioning as to the reality of it all. We used to be informed by the newspapers, then the radio, then TV, and now the internet. They're all basically the same thing. Somebody is putting ideas or images, concepts into our minds. And we accept some, reject others, but we're building the reality we live in. And we each build a different reality. What is reality? We accept what the mind tells us is reality, as reality. Reality to us is a state of mind. And our state of mind is built up by the inputs from the senses. Almost nowadays reduced to what we see on the screen. The screen is our reality. We just use the senses, the real bodily senses, to navigate our way from one place to another, or to perform the basic functions we need to as a human body. But our reality comes from the screen, where it's just sight and sound, and interpretation from what we already know. And our mind is just a pattern, evolving mechanism. It's the same as AI, largely. You put in some stimulus, it draws on all the data, sees a pattern, and gives you a result. AI nowadays has become super realistic. It's hard to tell the difference between real life and AI. And we so believe our screens, where AI is appearing. Because it's not appearing in our outside world, it's appearing through our screens and causing our minds to interpret in a certain way, to form patterns from the input. All our realities and all our truths and those things, they're all different. So what is reality? How can we find it? If we still all those inputs, what will happen? If we empty our mind, what will happen? Well, we fear that life will come to an end. There will be nothing there. We'll be lost. We'll be helpless. But for those who've done it, all through the ages, when they've emptied their minds, they find they're in a different space. They're in the space of consciousness, not mind forms. Because we're living in mind forms now, pictures that are in our mind. If we can empty the mind and just exist in that space of consciousness without all these images and thoughts and mental gyrations going on, we start to experience a different reality, and it's the same reality for everybody when they get into that space of pure consciousness. We live this life we're living by stimulating the mind and having all these mind forms being what we see that's made up by the mind. If we don't stimulate the mind so there are no more mind forms, the mind is still, mind is empty, we're going to experience consciousness, the power behind the mind, or the power, the energy source for the mind. We'll find the mind is really just a minor thing, although it occupies our attention completely. There is a consciousness beyond the mind, which is vast. It fills all of everything. It knows all. It is the destination of all spiritual practice in the end, of all real intellectual adventuring, intellectual inquiry. We are seeking that space of pure consciousness, but we bog down in the mind. We even have a concept of what consciousness is, but it's still just mind. It's still just mind forms. Death is the death of the body, and with the death of the body goes the senses. And what is left? There's nothing to create to inform the mind, except our impressions that are left in the mind, which is still mind. We haven't escaped the mind into consciousness. So we'll just experience the mind again and again. If we can escape the mind, we'll experience consciousness. And you can see how your world is made by all the input that goes into your mind. You empty the mind, and what's left is consciousness. And consciousness has no form in it. It's not really possible to explain it. It has to be experienced. And when you experience consciousness, this unexplainable consciousness that exists in neither time nor space, it just is. You are experiencing life for the first time, not this gigantic virtual reality movie we live in all the time. We're trapped in mental images. Some might argue that the The outside is solid, and it must be real. But that's again the result of the senses. Science has long since explained why things feel solid when they're just energy. If it's real life that we're seeking, we'll find it in consciousness, because consciousness is what we really are. Mind is just images and mental experiences. Consciousness is real creative energy. It is the center of everything. And it's found by emptying the mind. The difficulty is to see that there is something beyond the mind when the mind appears to be everything. We're trapped in it. We're trapped in the box of the mind. And the only way out is to empty it. You can't intellectually work your way out of the mind. You have to withdraw your attention from it. There are lots of methods that all lead to the same end. History is strewn with people who have taught it. And as soon as they've gone, the method is lost. And it turns into another mind trap, another mind box, until somebody else sees through it and tells us about it. And the process goes on, with a few escaping. Consciousness is what we are. The mind is the illusion we're trapped in. And we escape it by dissolving it.